That would help, wouldn't it? Here I am. It's one of those mornings. It never ends. But we made it. How's everybody doing? My restream was open late, so if you said anything, except for like the past 30 seconds, I haven't seen it, but cool. Good morning. Alrighty. So one of the things we talked about last time was a pirate ship. And so I can try and make one of those real quick. I'm trying to think how I would start making one now, since it's been a couple of years since I've made one. I suppose we need to find the shape first. And in that case, when I'm in doubt, I just like to start with a cube, and then we'll stretch it out this way, and then we'll go in here. You know what we could do? We could say, let's go here so you can see it. Skin shader 4, we can turn on X symmetry, and then go in here and do a ZRemesher, find, detect edges real quick, just to kind of, because it'll find those sharp corners for me. We'll do half, keep it real simple, and oops, ZRemesher half. There we go. X symmetry is turned on, and you can just start with this if you wanted to. So I'm gonna hold down Control Shift. We're gonna clip, and we're gonna find the lower bounds this way, and we're gonna go to the side, and we're gonna say, okay, the front. I guess the front and the back are kind of the same. So let's do this. Transform X and Z, and we can kind of. Let's do this. Turn down blur, align cursor surface. We're gonna turn on Dynamesh. And we're going to go the opposite way. There we go. So we got a basic boat shape, and then one more slice from the top will make the front side pointier. So we'll go ahead and turn off Z, and that'll give us, I suppose, the overall shape something like this. And this will be maybe a little fatter. There we go. We got a boat shape going. I'm going to try and simplify this. Trying to see the best way to maybe do that is to go in here, select the red, go ahead and say delete hidden, and then let's just ZRemesh this result. We'll say depth size down to 0, target polygon count down, ZRemesher. I guess I didn't really need to Dynamesh this, but we did it. Sorry, but groceries are more important. Can I make this larger? Hold on. Control. No. Well, let me scoot it closer to my face. Cool. Yes. Oh, good idea, John. I'll put this in a bottle. Project primitive makes sense for getting the base shapes. Yeah, depending on what the base shape you want to make is. Nothing wrong with that. We'll go ZRemesher half. Oh, another thing you could have done is use booleans for this shape. And now I'm wishing I really hadn't gone and Dynamesh this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and give me a second. Let me think. Instead of, let's try this. Okay, FX symmetry turn on. Instead of all that, let's go in here to trim, because I want to get very, it's just kind of like using a Boolean, only I want to get very, very precise polygroups. So we'll go ahead and turn on X symmetry, although really we don't even have to have X symmetry turned on. We can just mirror. It's also not going to work with X symmetry, I forgot. Mirror, mirror and weld. Deformation mirror, geometry modify topology, mirror and weld. And then we'll go ahead and we'll get the overall shape in, and then this side will go up, and this back side will go back. Something like this, and then we'll do again, mirror, mirror and weld, deformation mirror, geometry modify topology, mirror and weld. And then now I can go through here and I have a little bit more precise polygroup. So now it's going to be a little bit easier for me and a little bit faster. So we'll say Control W on those, and then on these ones down here, we want all of these to be basically the same polygroup, I think. And then the top I really don't care about, so I guess we can delete that. And now when we go in here and we say, okay, ZRemesher, keep group smooth groups down to 0, depth size down to 0, same, since we have very few polygons. There we go. Much nicer, more controllable result. So now that we have this, I'm going to go ahead and just run a polish by features. That's under your deformation menu. Just tap, and now we've got our overall boat shape minus, I forgot one thing. Go in here, so undo that, and we're going to go through here, and we're going to do a slice circle down the side. There we go. And now we've got this one we can delete. And now ZRemesh are same, keep group smooth groups down to 0. Now we got a boat shape going. That might be a little bit steep, but you know what? Who cares? You know, and now that I mentioned we don't want the top part anymore, that's not exactly true, but that's okay. I'm going to go here to display properties, flip, and we're going to say, not flip, double, so I can see both sides. And we're just going to do a real quick bridge down here. So we're going to say bridge, edges here and here. And then we're just going to go ahead and just cap this all the way across. We are going to have to do a mirror and weld at some point if we wanted these to actually weld to the front and the back. You know what? I'll show you how to do that in just a second. This is going to be a little bit boring, sorry. Entertain yourselves while I bridge things U to U. I mean, one thing you could also try and do is like bridge just every once in a while, and then you can do a fill holes and try and delete hidden. There we go. So if you were to go through here and say geometry modify topology, close holes, then you could spin these edges, but a lot of that'll work on simpler things. On this one, there's enough edges to where that's probably more of a pain than it's worth. So anyway, I guess one thing you could do, there may have been a more elegant solution for this. Or I take it back. Maybe not elegant, but a more hacky solution that might have gone faster. But we're not going to worry about that right now. It's just edges, man. Sometimes you gotta brute force. Okay, so now the front and the back, it looks like we got nice edge loops, clean edge loops all the way through, which is good because what we could do if we did want to sew this up, not that we'd have to necessarily for what we're going to do, we can go in here to insert multiple edge loops, interactive elevation off, and we can put a line right down the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and select both these polygroups, hit Control W, keep us sane, and then we'll just go through here. And now we can bridge these edges to the back. And now we've got a nice clean shape here. Use my mouse here, sorry. Hue and hue and hue and hue. There we go. And again, Control W. And you know what? If let's do this. Insert edge loop, and I'm just going to hold down Alt and then do a quick mirror and weld just to kind of clean those up a little bit, and then I can go back in here and say insert single edge loop if I want those loops back in there. Okay, I think we're cooking. Is there a way to polygroup whatever side is facing you, so you can just grab each side of the ship if you don't have polygroups already? Yeah, you can go, assuming your normals are okay, you can go over here to polygroups, or your geometry will support this. You can go in here and say group front, and that'll just group by a front angle. It's grabbing a little bit more than I would want to, but usually what I end up doing is just doing a group by normals with a max angle turned up or down to grab what I need. To get the same both sides again, geometry modify topology, mirror and weld across the x-axis, and that's usually good enough. So now we got this. Let me zoom in on one of these. I guess this is fine. And now it's just a matter of making this thing out of wood, putting in the little railing. Let's go ahead and do an uncrease all under your crease menu. And what else? We got some sails. We got a little box where the little captain lives. Okay. I think I got my head wrapped around this. So I suppose we should just keep blocking this out. So I'm gonna go into my, you can go into BI brush insert and insert your custom, or insert your cubes from there. I have a custom menu here that's just got some simple shapes set up the way I like it. So we're gonna go through here and we're gonna say, okay, that's where the captain lives. The railing we're not gonna mess with just yet. We do need to put a big pole down the middle. So one thing I'm gonna do, one thing you can do, if I go through here now with an insert mesh brush, is gonna want to look at that surface normal. I wanna plant this straight down, so I'm gonna go in here to picker. I'm gonna say, the orientation, just tap that so it goes straight down, so no matter what surface I put this on, it'll always go straight in. And then I'm going to say split mask points, hold down Alt so I can scale just down that axis, and then pop that out there. And you know what, this ship's looking a little stumpy, so I'm going to go through here. I'm going to Alt tap the body, go to the middle. I'm just going to kind of fan that out just a tad, and again we'll reset this. Q Alt S. There we go. Yoink. Something like that. Okay. Yeah, you know what? This is fine. We can maybe put some stairs in here in a bit if we feel like it, and then we'll need, I guess, the top and the bottom. Let's go ahead and taper this. So it's a couple different ways we can taper. We can go in here to our deformation menu. We can do a taper. If you're going to do this with, and you have a bunch of geometry in here, I would say take this exponent and put it to 0. But since we don't have any geometry, we can literally just taper this down as needed. So we're good. You could also just scale that top of the what is that called? A cylinder? That's also what you could have done. Oh, an anchor too. Let's do that. So let's go ahead and do a quick save because I'm going to be swapping out to just a polyplane here. And you know what? Let me see if I can just find one. Yes, I can. Just trying to find a simple one. Save image as desktop. Okay, so we're going to go in here to texture, import from my desktop. Oh, of course. Of course. Just the one time I don't actually need a PNG. Let's look over here to intensity. Nope. I want, is there an invert on here? I think there is. All right, you know what? No, you're deleted. Let me find another one. I don't really care. I just need just this plain Jane. Save image as. Again, one of those mornings. Although, now that I think about this, save image as. Yeah, save the HTML document. That's what I want. Open image in new tab. Nope, of course that doesn't exist. Guys, I just need, okay, here we go. Save image as desktop. Thank you. Okay, texture, import. Give it 10 minutes. There we go. Add it to Spotlight. So we now have a polyplane back here. Oh gosh, you know what we could do? We could actually ignore the Spotlight part of this. So underneath texture, let's do Shift Z to turn that off. I'm going to go over here to make Polymesh 3D. So this is a plane. We're going to go down here to texture, map. We're going to load in our anchor here. And another thing we do is we can do polypaint by texture. Hold down Shift and say polypaint from texture. That'll give you the same aspect ratio as the original image. And then we can go back here to texture on. So when I go through here and I say turn off smooth and then just divide this up a couple times to get some resolution out of here, I can say again, polypaint from texture with mRGB turned on. There we go. So now we have an anchor going. Let's do Control D one more time. And then again, polypaint from texture. There we go. And then we're going to go in here to masking. I think you can try to do, you know, just a mask by color, mask by polypaint, but I think we just do a mask by intensity, and that'll just go ahead and do the trick. And then we'll go, now that we have a mask, geometry, delete lower, and we're going to cut right around where that mask is. So if we turn off that polypaint there, you'll see that's where our mask is. And you know what? Let's do, yeah, that's fine. Geometry, edge loop mask border. Get rid of you, delete hidden. And of course I find the one anchor that has like a weird, yeah, I'm just about done. Okay, let's go back to where we just have our masking here. I'm going to blur this mask and then Control Alt Tab to tighten the mask back up. Go back in here, edge loop mask border, delete hidden. I'm going to hold down Control Shift, just grab the little piece here, geometry modified topology, delete hidden. You can clean some of this up. Let's do a quick mirror and weld across the x-axis. There we go. And then I suppose that'll work, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say Control Shift Slice Circle because it's got like a little piece of rope in there. Delete hidden, again, geometry modified topology, mirror and weld. Any sort of cleanup you want to do. Let's do a slice curve. I hope this is all worth it. There we go, we'll try this. And then again, mirror, mirror and weld. Oops. I guess we can just do a mirror and weld then. Isolate, delete hidden, ZRemesher, let's say half, depth size down to 0. It seems to be what the overall shape is. And then if it starts having a little bit of trouble around here, I'm gonna take my move and I'm just gonna kind of be like, hey, no big deal, but I need you to be a little more arrow shaped as you reduce. And you know what? I need you to be a little rounder. That's not its fault. It's the fault of the shape I had originally. Half, half. You know what? I think that's good enough. So we got this here. A couple different ways you can add thickness. I suppose the most straightforward way is the Modeler Brush BZM, Qmesh, Polygroup Ball, and we'll just pop this out like so. If we also want to, we can go in here to crease, hold down Control, pop in a little bevel along here. Let's just do a crease PG and run a crease tolerance. Dynamic, crease level of 2, smooth set of 3, and now we've got a little anchor here, and then we can do Shift D, so we can go through here and we can uncrease anything we want. So crease edge, we'll hold down Alt and we'll uncrease those edges where it picked up just a few too many. Turn D back on. All right, so B, create an insert mesh, new. And this is why I did a quick save before I switched. No big deal, I didn't lose anything, but just annoying is all. I'm gonna call this Annoying Thursday. Quick save. We covered Z tool. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do our last quick save here, and then we're going to load up our recovered Z tool. We're back where we started. Again, so this is, okay, we're good. B, create insert mesh, new. Go back to our ship. Finally, and we can go bloop. There we go. Split mass points. Good enough. Let's shoot this down at the bottom and back to our ship. Okay, let me get caught up. Could you use Noisemaker for the wood boards? Yes, if it's not going to break the silhouette, I might do that just in the texture. But yeah, there's actually a wood Noisemaker in there. We could give that a shot. Cool. Yeah, Shadowbox is also another good one. Yeah, or even just kind of poly painting it on that plane that we had. But I take the hardest path sometimes. Okay. We got this, we got that, we need to do some trim now, I think. So some of this trim looks like it's sitting right on the ship. I guess I can, it looks like it's sitting right on the ship. Some of it's like something that's off the ship a little bit with some trim. So I think, you know what, maybe we'll do both. So now that we have nice, simple geometry, what I think I can do is I can just duplicate this off and we're just gonna steal. Let's go in here to select lasso. Or you know what, we'll go to our Z Modeler brush here. We're just gonna hold down Alt. We gotta go into solo because we had some, it's not Z fighting, but it's when you have a polygon sitting right on top of each other, that tends to not want to grab what's in front of your face. So we'll do this. That looks about right. So I'm gonna take just this poly group here, say delete hidden. We'll clean this up just a tiny bit. So Control Alt W and U. Good enough. And then now we're going to go through here and we're going to say Qmesh, Polygroup All, and just pop this out. And now we have some trim. I might just run, just for the heck of it, crease. And again, we'll just knock down maybe crease level 3, smooth set level 4. Make sure as we're going that things are smoothing predictably, thicknesses are where we want them, all that good stuff. We could also just pop this up just a tiny bit. And then from the inside, we could say Qmesh, Polygroup All, hold down Shift, and just pull those in just to kind of get this to overlap on the interior just a tiny bit. And then down the front, You know what? Down the front, it also looks like it has another one. So let's do that. Well, some of them do, some of them don't. And we'll put it in there. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So we're going to take this again. We're just going to duplicate this off. And in this particular instance, I'm going to hold down Control Shift. And we're going to grab all of the blue pieces, and then we're going to say Delete Hidden. And then from the front, let's try this. Let's go in here to Slice Curve. I'm going to slice just right down the side, and then do a quick mirror, mirror, and weld. Isolate just the blue. Delete Hidden. ZRemesh half. I guess we can turn keep groups off. We don't really need that. So half. ZRemesher. There we go. Something nice and simple. It's a little heavier than I would have hoped, but that's okay. We're fine. And we're going to go through here, and again, we're just going to Q-mesh polygroup all. We're going to pull this out, and then we've got like a big stick that comes out. Some of them are just round, and then some of them are actually built in and go to a little curly Q. We'll do that. So through here, if I want to move these up here, I can just Alt paint them, Q-mesh polygroup all, hold down Shift, and just kind of pull along those surface normals. And then to pull this out, again, you're just kind of looking for which ones you want to come out and how far you want them to come out. So you can just hold down Shift. And then again, if we want to taper this, I wouldn't necessarily use taper in this case. I'd probably just go in here, Unmesh Mesh Center, go to Unmesh Mesh Center. We'll just scale this down a little bit here. And you know what? This is looking a little boring. Let's do this real quick. Let's go in here to Merge Visible. So we've got this merged ship here, and I'm going to say, okay, things I don't want to necessarily get crazy is this little pull here. So we're going to go ahead and say split that into its own subtool, turn the eyeball off. And we're going to go in here and we're going to say bend curve. Nope. I mean, you could do bend curve, but we're going to do bend arc. It's just going to be a general bend. And we're going to have this kind of have a little bit more of a jaunty feel to it. That'll work. And then also, and then we just need to split this back up. So Control Shift A. I don't want to lose my poly groups. It's not that difficult to recreate them. So, but anyway, I can also do Control Shift A, split hidden. So you can just grab a little piece and then Control Shift A to grab all of it. And then now we're back where we started. And on this one in particular, let's do a quick poly groups group by normals. And I'm just going to run a tiny polish by features just to kind of smooth the shape out. It was looking a little bit. It built in the faceting from the underside of the boat. There we go. So now this looks a little bit funner. And then now we're going to go through here and again, Alt. Let's turn on X symmetry here. And then Q-mesh polygroup all. And then we'll go through here and we'll say Unmesh Mesh Center. And if we want to inherit this normal, we can just tap on the surface and then just pull that down. Or if you want to get real exacting, tap on the top there. Just pull that up. Yeah, that's looking about like what they have here. Goes around, good enough. All right, so Shift, turn all this back on. And then now, let's get creative with how to create actual big chunky wood planks. And again, I'm going to use the pre-existing geometry on here. So we're going to duplicate this entire ship shape off, isolate just the purple parts. We'll do this section by section maybe. And we'll say delete hidden. And you know what I'm going to do? I want this to be a little bit smoother. Again, let's try a little polish by feature on this one. Before we delete hidden, I'm going to do a quick, just a tiny, let's do this. Control D to subdivide, but first we're going to go in here to geometry, polygroups, sorry, crease by, I have to use my custom menu. It's in there somewhere, crease PG, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hit Control D to subdivide once, and then we can just hit delete lower, because I just need a little bit more information for the purple sides that we're using. Isolate those again, delete hidden. In fact, we can just work on one side. I'm going to turn off X symmetry, go to this side, Control Shift A, and then delete hidden. So now, wood planks, everybody. It looks like even though the boat's bending, the wood planks just kind of are what they are. So here's what we're going to do. Control Shift, we're going to go in here to slice. I can ZRemesh wood planks or I can use Nanomesh. Yeah, let's try ZRemeshing first. and then maybe Nanomesh might be something we're looking for. So I'm just going to go through here. Let's go in here to transparency so you can see what we're doing a little bit more, and then turn off the line. So essentially, I'm just kind of dialing in where I might want some, again, some chunky wood planks here. And then if I want to break this up, I can go through here, because I can use polygons along here to put wood planks, but I think our wood planks are gonna be pretty big. I'm just gonna go through and be like, you know what, you and you, and then we'll go here, and then it's gonna be like you and you, and then down here, I go right down the middle. Okay, I think that'll work. So here, if I go into solo mode, here's our wood planks. However, our geometry is super crappy, so we're going to go through here. We're going to try this. Half, depth size down to 0, keep groups, move groups down to 0. And that actually got us pretty decently close. Could try, though, same. Give us a little more polygons, or double. And it's not really helping us that much. Another thing, you can give this a shot. You can go in here to Q-mesh, all polygons, and just pull this back. Maybe Q-mesh isn't the right one. Let's do extrude all polygons. Yeah, no. Here's another thing you could try. Geometry modified topology, weld points. I'm going to crank that weld distance up a bit, maybe to 10. Just I want to grab all those pieces, just to make sure there's not any weirdo things hanging out. You know what? I can live with this. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in here to split edge with our ZModeler brush. Hold down Alt, start painting, and then tap Shift to inherit these polygroups here. And then here we'll go through and be okay, I want this to go straight up again. We'll just do another split here, and then start Alt painting here. That's fine. And this sometimes may be enough to, let's go in here and say, if you can't delete an edge, there may be a chance there's a really small vert. But that seems to be okay. Let's try it one more time. Let's do same. I think we're okay. In a pinch, if you do know you're going to end up splitting these things off anyways, you can just go ahead and say, you know what? Let's do a group split. So these are all going to be in their own separate subtools temporarily. And then through these ones, you can do like ZRemesh or half, and it's got a much simpler shape. That one's actually pretty decent. These are all actually pretty decent, honestly. So I'm going to use my down arrow key, and anything that looks a little bit suspect, you can just go through here and try and give it a little bit more information. In this instance, what I may just do is just clean it up a little bit. We'll go in here to collapse an edge, and then we'll say slide, edge loop complete, go down here a little bit, and then we'll go in here and we'll say insert single edge loop, and now we'll say collapse here, and collapse here, and then delete edge, edge, slide, yoop. There we go, a little bit better. Down arrow. Whenever things go to super points, it can sometimes be a little bit more difficult. And this is where I was saying, if you want to do like an extrude, let's flip this around. Let's go ahead and say run a crease on this one, and then now we can ZRemesh. You know, I could probably just, never mind. 3/4 of the way through a process, I'm like, oh, you know what I should have done? I think we're okay. So we're going to go down here and we're going to say keep creases, ZRemesh are same. And now let's do this. Keep groups, smooth groups down to 0. Let's do this. Polish by group by normals. Keep groups. Oof. There we go. Double. Seem to do the trick. And then again, we can just delete hidden. And I can go through here, do a slight bit of cleanup. Well, again, we'll split here, and then delete you and you and you. And I guess we can just bridge edges here. And I don't know why I'm being so particular about these shapes. It's not like it's going to make or break them when I go through and create anything. This one's fine. Fine, fine. Just a tiny bit of cleanup. Let's say delete edge here and collapse edge there. fine. Okay, so now that we have this, let's go out of transparency mode. Let's take our ship and we'll hide it. There we go. So I just want to make sure I merge all these back down together. So right here at the very top, we have this one. I'm just gonna hit Control E, my hotkey for merge, and we'll just grab all these back together. And now they're all in one subtool. And now I need to give these things thickness. I could go through manually and like give them thickness individually. That doesn't sound too fun. So let's go down here to Geometry Edge Loop, and we're gonna go down here to Panel Loops. I think, here it is. And then loops, I don't need a ton of loops, I don't think. So we're just gonna drop this down to 1. And then elevation, I don't mind if it comes out a little bit, but I don't want it to just come straight out. So we're gonna put this at 0. So it's gonna go out on both sides. We do want double turned on. We want it to be double-sided. We don't want to ignore groups. So we'll hit panel loops. Oh, we do not want any polish. So I turn that to a closed circle and 0 just to double check. And then thickness, just turn that up slightly. And looks like we have a little straggler on the back. Also another thing too, if ZRemesh is having a hard time, it may be because there's a little polygon on the back. So we'll say delete a single poly here. That can be causing problems. There we go. Panel loops. Cool. And then the bevel profile, I think I'm gonna push these past that midpoint here, and also crank that bevel down quite a bit, because I don't want these like splitting. All right, so we're making some planks. Is this good enough? Well, if we go in here, and this is eventually these are going to be kind of smoothy, so we're going to say, just to kind of test that, we're going to go over here to dynamic, and we're going to say turn on dynamic. We're going to go ahead and run a crease tolerance, so just run a crease with tolerance set at 45 should be fine. Smooth so div of 1, crease level of 1, smooth so div of 2 or 3, say crease level of 2. Smooth so div of 3. They'll end up looking something like this. And if I want to close those gaps a little bit, I can go through here and I can say, you know, I can inflate them just a tiny bit. We can also have those gaps and then just have the base of the boat sitting underneath it, so it'll kind of catch, you're not looking through the boat. And another thing you could do, you could individually go through an inset. Maybe we'll do that in a second. I don't know. We'll see what we want to do there. But in the meantime, I'm just going to do a quick mirror and weld. Now, if you ever want to start from scratch, we can just pop these pieces off and then, you know, run another panel loops and try to get a little bit more what we want. So you're never really lost. And also you can go to a previous quick save or file save. Hello, the Grubber. Confused about 2D concept artists and 3D concept artists. Does the job of 3D concept artists make a 3D version of 2D concept? If not, why most companies and art books are in 2D? Concept artist is a concept artist. Whether or not you choose to use 3D or 2D is kind of up to you. And in fact, it's 2021. So if you're only doing one or the other, you're probably pretty, your skill set could be improved, I think. And it's just a tool. So there's certainly ways to use 3D to enhance your 2D and then vice versa. So I think most concept artists I know aren't just one or the other. They use any tool available to them. Let me plug this in. So yeah, at least in my experience, it's been you're a concept artist, and how much 3D or 2D you do at any given moment is on a sliding scale, or it's on a gradient, bell curve. I am eating a Ricola, so my voice doesn't go halfway through. Oh, thank you. Last week when you did the chainmail, did you create all those now insert? No, those are just Micropoly. So if I wanted a chainmail board right here, I can go through here and underneath dynamic, we can just turn this on Micropoly and then just grabbed chainmail links. And now we have chainmail. If you want to know more on that, that was a ZBrush 2021, I suppose. So ZBrush 2020, here's my ArtStation here. ZBrush 2021, what's new in here? And then You can scroll down, or you know what? We can also click this so I can go on YouTube, and then here's the entire playlist, and then you can just Micropoly. Let's see, how many do we got in there? 17 videos on Micropoly, it looks like. There we go. Start at video 39 on this playlist here. Cool. We got a pirate ship going. Cool, cool, cool. Intro to ZRemesh, absolutely cool, awesome. No problem. Thanks. Glad they helped out, Siva. Cool. Alrighty. So now we got this going. We got some boards going, and then of course we would need planks across the other directions. In this case, I think it'll be a little bit easier because these are all kind of just set up for boards. So let's go through here and we'll say just duplicate our base chip off again, and we'll just grab all the purple and then delete hidden, and then I think we're kind of good to go, luckily. So we can literally just go through here and just start painting. Oops, let's turn on X symmetry. I want a board here, and then just tap Alt with your pin held down. It'll make a new poly group, and then go through here, and then go through here. And I'm just kind of creating new areas for our panel loops to do its thing. And through here, you know what? This one might just be its own, and then this one, oops, might be its own. So as we get up towards the top, another option too, since I'm having a hard time with that, polygroup, polyloop, and then just tap Alt, and then I'll grab all these. So these can be all their own boards. I think these are thin enough this way to where those will all just kind of pop out. But once you get back in here, you may need to turn off X symmetry and say, you know what, you need to be your own board, you need to be your own board, and you need to be on your own board, just to kind of break it up a little bit. And then I wonder, let's try this. Let's go here. Let's go down here to the panel loops we just used. There is a plugin. C plugin. The panel loop presets. Where you can save your own custom. Oh, replace preset. Okay. What are you doing? Oh, panel loop presets. Okay, data. Okay. Let's call this, yeah, panel temp is fine. It's going to want to save this in there, saving this. Okay, so now we have a custom preset, so we can just keep using this one. Whew, glad that worked. I'm going to go ahead and hit escape to get out of there so I can switch over to my other subtool I was playing with, which was this one. And then I should, everybody cross your fingers for me, I should be able to go back in here to Z plugin, panel loop presets, apply that same preset, say yes, and those should all be consistent with the other boards that I created. So again, we'll go ahead and hit D. We'll run a crease tolerance on those bad boys, crease level of 2, smooth div of 3 maybe. And I forgot, right down the middle we have a thing blocking this. Does that go all the way to the back? That doesn't seem right. Show me the back of the ship, please. I'm going to say that doesn't go all the way around. We're going to do this. I'm going to take this one here, and right about somewhere where this should end, I'm going to hold down Alt and just Q mesh this through, and then Control Shift drag over this, Control Shift A, and then delete hidden. All right. We have some planks, and let's go ahead and hit D for dynamic here. And then we'll crisp this up a little bit. Crease level of 3, smooth div of 4, something like this. All right, all right, all right. Down here, it looks like the planks are going to go longwise. Sorry. You know what? Let's do something a little bit funner. I think we're tired of planks right now. So let's go ahead and put the railing on here. So I'm just going to use this pre-existing geometry to just kind of pop up railing where it should go. And it looks like on these ones, the railing kind of goes front and back only, maybe, not necessarily down the sides. And in our case, maybe just on the back. We'll do front and back just to start with, and then if we want to delete one, no big deal. We're going to duplicate this off, go into solo mode here, and I'm literally just going to grab the polygons I want. You, here, and you here. Let's try that again. Okay, we'll do this all in one fell swoop. ZBrush. All right, we got it. Delete hidden. Shift D to turn off dynamic. And now we have railing, the top part of the railing where I want it. So we're just going to take this and go, you know what, let's QMesh polygroup all. I can just hold down Shift and just scoop that right along its surface normal. Then we'll go ahead and give this some thickness here. And then now I just need to put some posts. Hold down Shift. Just dot some posts around here. I can use Nanomesh for this, I think. I don't know how fancy we want to get with this. Let's do something semi-fancy. So we want to we're going to use Nanomesh to kind of populate some posts around the bottom border of here. And you know what, before I move this, I probably should have done this. That's okay. QMesh polygroup, I'll hold down Control to pop off a copy of that. And we're just going to use this as our Nanomesh base. Control Shift drag a piece of that. Control Shift A so you can isolate it, split into its own polygroup here, and then we'll do a display properties flip so we can see the side. So I think every single one of these polygons, maybe not this, yeah, maybe that one, will support a object. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. We're going to go in here to bevel edge loop complete because I want to support on the corner. Let's turn on X symmetry here. I want to support on every corner, so I want a polygon there. And then, yeah, I think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm just trying to visualize what this one might be a little bit much. Insert single edge loop here. And I can always move these around as needed after the fact, but I think this will work. We'll give it a shot. So we have this. Now we want to insert an object. Doesn't really, honestly, I don't think it really matters what object, but if we want to visualize a little bit faster, because we can only switch it out when we go into edit our polygons on our Nanomesh, do a quick save. Always when you're hopping out and you're going back into another subtool all by itself, I like to do in a quick save. Let's do a cylinder. Again, I said we're going to be semi-fancy. Let's go down here to initialize h divides of maybe, I don't know, 12, v divides of 3. I think that'll be okay. Make polymesh 3D. We'll go ahead and hold down Alt and scale along that axis here. And we'll go in here and we'll say, there's actually a couple different ways you can make a swoopy shape. There's actually a primitive for that you can use a curve, but I think I want to keep it a little bit more controlled than that. So we're insert multiple edge loops. Let's do interactive elevation, so we can kind of pull this out. We'll kind of fatten up the sides here. And then again, if we want to kind of curve this one in, we can go insert multiple edge loops, interactive elevation, and then we can go along here and we can just hold down, oops. Just kind of pull in here, and then we'll just tap to inherit this. So we'll kind of get a shape, and if I want to, you know, I can say bevel edge loop complete, so it kind of, oops, probably on here. And we can also, since we're sitting right in the middle of our world here, go in here to transform X and Y, so I can kind of scale these or bevel these on the fly. All right, I think that'll work. So this will be our railing here. I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick group by normals because I like things a little bit more organized than that. And then we're going to turn this into a Nanomesh. We're going to go to the top here, B, create insert mesh, new, and then now you can just kind of insert these things however you'd like. But again, I want this to kind of populate for me. So we're going to go back to our ship here. Oh, with this brush we just made, the insert mesh brush we just selected, brush, create Nanomesh brush. And then I'll go ahead and right here in your brush menu is going to give you new Z modeler brush with that railing applied to it. Oh, whoops, I'm in the wrong ship. Let's go ahead and say delete all on those ones so we don't get confused. And now we have this. However, because I'm super dumb, I lost one. That's okay. We're going to take this side over here. We're going to duplicate this off. I need you to, so we're going to say delete hidden. And we're going to say QMesh, polygroup all. And this time I'm going to leave this down here. Hold down Control. Oh no, I just didn't pull down a thing. Okay, that's fine. So we've got the base here. I'm going to merge these two bases together. I forgot I made the railing, but I didn't leave down a base here. So now I'm going to hit Control W, make these all one polygroup. Let's go ahead and say insert single edge loop, hold down Alt, U, and U. And solo mode, U. Again, I have to have them on the corner. So I need U, and you know what? I don't need U. I might just go through here, and I'm going to Alt select this one, then just say delete a single poly. So I have one here. This might be a little close, so we're going to slide U down. Okay. I think we're doing okay. Control W. Hang in there, everybody. Let's go ahead and drop. Oops, nope, we don't need to drop that down. We just need to turn everything else back on. Okay. Okay. This bevel on the corner. Again, I don't think we'll need that one necessarily, or the one in the middle. Slide. Okay, so we have our brand new brush with our little railing in it. I'm going to hover over face. We're going to say insert Nanomesh, polygroup all, and then now I can put a little railing on every single one of those polygons. And then of course we need to go in here to our Nanomesh properties and say, okay, first of all, that offset is not going to work for me. So we're going to, I don't think, Y offset, Z offset. I want them to be basically sitting right on the top here, which means I need to scale the size down, but that's okay. So we're going to go through here and we're going to scale the size down. And if I want to use this as Nanomesh, but I don't necessarily want these things in here or visible, I can say turn off show placement, and that'll just leave these kind of hanging out. Now it's not geometry I can necessarily model on altogether, but I can go in here and I can say edit mesh. And then, oh boy, my orientation's a little wacky, but I can go through here and make any changes that I want at this stage. So if I wanted to go through here and say, you know what, again, let's turn on activate symmetry in the X and I guess Z in this case. Now we're going to go through here, we're going to say bevel, edge loop complete, and then inset, polygroup all legacy, and then we're going to go in here and we're going to say Q mesh, polygroup all, hold down shift. And then as I'm doing that, you're seeing the railing is updating on the fly. And then if I go out of edit mesh mode, they've all been updated. So that's a better way than going in here and inserting a bunch of stuff and then going, oh, I wish I could change those. Well, now you can. They may be a little bit small. Let's do this. I'm going to give you a little more breathing room. So we're going to say Q mesh, polygroup all, hold down shift, and just pull along that surface normal. These corners are getting left behind a little bit, so I'm going to kind of fudge those into place. Let's do a quick mirror and weld, X symmetry turned on. And then same thing here. I'm going to say Q mesh, polygroup all, and then here we can, this is literally just geometry. Remember, if we turn on show placement, these are instances sitting on geo faces. So if I go through here and I scale these out, that'll kind of reposition them. And again, it's not going to scale them, it's going to reposition where they are because they're just kind of stuck. They're an instance that's stuck to that face. And then now I may be able to go in here and I can change the width and the length at the same amount. I mean, probably the safer thing to do is go in there and actually fatten the model up. But in this case, we'll do like 1.5. And we'll just pre-visualize it before we make that. Again, you can also go through here and you can slide as it complete if you want to kind of rearrange exactly where these things go, if they're a little too close or too far. Again, you're just they're kind of stuck to the middle of that face. So you can very quickly kind of go through here and rearrange these, or delete any of them if you don't want one of them there. You can. This one's going to make them smaller. Okay, sorry about that. Oh my gosh, what does that even mean? I got €5 from 3D Head Tutor. You are awesome. I didn't even know that was a thing. You might be the first person who's ever done that. Congratulations and thank you, I suppose. Dang, I need to go figure out how that works. Thank you. Nizumi, you've seen me live before. Pretty sure. Let me see. Let me get caught up. You say you need to make a curved slide to go into the pool for this. How would you make the slide? Are you talking about like? I mean, are you talking about like off the edge of the ship? I mean, probably how I would do it. I generally, my gut would maybe say, well, use IMM curve brush, but honestly, I end up usually just creating the base form, and I use ZRemesh all the time. It's huge for what I end up doing. Versus all the content you made. Absolutely, glad the videos are helping. But did you relate the individual meshes for the micropoly on the chainmail itself? The individual squares Geo makes it up. Yes, yeah, that's all I did. Was I just made a hood? I dynamically draped it. I mean, hell, well, let's talk about dynamics. And you know what? I'll make a chainmail sail for now. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and make the sails. And we'll talk about micropoly and we'll talk about sails. The sail that we're going to make, how fancy do I want to get? Because, oh boy, there's a lot of different configurations. We can have these like drooping sails, which I did on the, if you remember the mermaid on stage, I kind of give her that. There's this one, nice and simple, just kind of going out the top. I may do something like, there's not a ton of room on here, so I don't know how fancy I can get necessarily. Also, we need to do the little, what's that little lookout thing they have? So let's give ourselves a little more breathing room on the top of this here. And let's put a crossbar in here. So I do want to go through here. Let's turn on, I'm going to do a cylinder that's looking right at me, cylinder mid 12. You all don't, I mean, if you want this, I can give it to you. I can get you this. It's called the IMM, what is this called? Multi-mesh insert, IMM base primitives. Oh, maybe I don't have it. Shoot. Yeah, there's one more place I could look for it. There it is. Okay, I do have the brush. Show me where this is, please. Okay, don't. I'll just find it. There it is. Share. Get link. Copy link. Done. There you go. So if you want, because I find this immensely helpful, I go through here and use my base primitive menu. So I have a cylinder mid 12, which means from the top of anything, I can just drop in a cylinder that'll go side to side. Sorry, that's a lot of explanation for something very simple, but I use it all the time, so you can use it too. So I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to go ahead and scale this out. We have X symmetry turned on, and now we have that crossbar. So I'm going to do, maybe we'll do a smaller one up top, and then control drag out, copy, and we'll do a little bigger one here. So I want to put a sail in between here. So what's a good way to do that? And I also want the sail to go from basically this point to this point here. I could just put in geometry, but if I want to be a little bit more precise, I can go through here, I can duplicate both these off, and I can try and bridge out from a point. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do group by normals. I'm going to take this polygroup here and this polygroup here. I'm going to say delete hidden, and then from you, let's say bevel edge loop complete from you here to you here. Delete hidden. We're going to say QMesh, all polygons. Let's go in here to insert single edge loop. We're going to get rid of this little middle edge loop here, and then I can just bridge you. So delete a single poly here and delete a single poly here. And we're going to go down here to bridge two holes, you to you. Okay, now we got a plane. I'm going to do a quick geometry modify topology mirror and weld. We're going to take this plane right here, delete hidden, and now we've got a plane stretched between those two planes. Was that worth it? Absolutely not. But we did it anyway. So now I'm going to have this be cloth. Right now, if I do a simulation on this, it's only going to simulate like 3 points because there's not a whole lot going on here because I do need to mask the top and bottom. However, we can go down here to Geometry Divide. We're going to turn off Smooth. And we're just going to divide this plane up. Let's hit Delete Lower so you can kind of see what we're doing. Let's divide one more time. Delete Lower. There we go. You don't have to delete lower. I just wanted you to see these points here. Also, let's go down here. I get a little nervous when I have double. Ooh, double's not turned on, which means we have 2 sides to this plane. So let's do an auto groups. Poly groups, auto groups. I just need one side. Delete hidden. Now, I do see one side, but now when I go to the side, it's completely invisible. Let's go over here to our what? Dynamic. I don't want to smooth it out necessarily, but I do want to add some dynamic thickness. This is all fake, but this is where we get into, hey, you want to see some chainmail? So we're going to go in here to Micropoly, and we can say, we can make it knit or chain twist. Here's chainmail here, and I'm going to turn off thickness in this case because this Micropoly is providing thickness for us. So now we have chainmail. Now they aren't going all in the same direction, so let's fix that. Let's go down here to Geometry, Modify Topology. There's a couple different ways to do this, but with Micropoly, I think the easiest way is Modify Topology, and we're going to do a Align Edge. There we go. Now our chainmail is going all in the same direction. And again, these are just instances, just like Nanomesh, they're just instances being driven by, if I go back here to Dynamic, we turn this off, they're just being driven by these polygons here. So, which means, so I go in here to like brush, oops, not C, BCK, brush cloth hook, and I can simulate those polygons, and the chainmail will just be driven right along with it. And that could be any Micropoly. You can swap these out on the fly. Here's herringbone, nice canvasy look. So if you wanted to simulate with those on, by all means, go for it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. And we're gonna turn up thickness a little bit so we can kind of see our plane from all angles. And we want to kind of sag this out a little bit like it's catching some wind. And I was going to say I need to mask the top and the bottom, but really it looks like I just need to mask the corners. Now, there's probably not a whole lot of geometry here, so I'm not expecting great things, but we'll see. So how do I make this sag? Well, one thing I could do is go in here to Brush, BTC, Brush Transpose Cloth. I can literally just pull some wind through it. If I want to use dynamics for this, I can just go to the side here, because again, if I run dynamics and I change the gravity direction, I can just have it kind of bulge out. I'm going to change it to be, ooh, can I remember how to do this? Let go of Alt, nope. Alt shift, wait, rotate. There's a way where you can actually rotate along your camera along an axis. I don't remember what it is. That's okay. And go through here, I can say gravity, set direction, gravity strength down, because we don't have a ton of polygons here, so it could go really fast, and then just run the simulation. And then now, I don't need to go down that far, I suppose. There we go. And that'll just kind of, again, sag the geometry. Now I could, again, go in here, brush transpose cloth if I wanted this to kind of be a little bit more dynamic. But again, there's not a whole lot of resolution here. So if I wanted to give ourselves a little bit more to work with, I can go in here, and we're going to say, let's control drag to, we don't want to have anything masked when we subdivide, otherwise it'll do a local subdivision. So we're going to say geometry divide. And again, if you want to see this, I can just, I think I go down and up one, no, polyframe off, polyframe on, there we go. So we're actually adding subdivisions. I'm going to keep subdivisions, so we can always go down a subdivision level if we want to like sculpt on that. And then now that I have more geometry, as I do this, and I'll go ahead and mask the corners again. And if you pull too fast, it'll pull through the mask. Oh, maybe not. Sometimes if the mask isn't super heavy, it will pull through the mask, but now it's looking okay. If you wanted this to collide with the rest of your scene, you can go in here to collision volume. Just turn that on. It'll calculate a collision volume for everything else in your scene. So now if it goes backwards, it'll kind of stick, you know, to that stick there. Also, you can go in here. Right now the firmness is set to 2, so the wrinkles, it'll kind of wrinkle nicely. There's not a whole lot of wrinkles needed for this, but you can also go in here to expand. So as I'm moving this out, it'll start generating more surface area for that cloth to interact with. So I don't think I need to do that in this case. It's just something you can use if you needed to generate some wrinkles. Also, go down to Mesh Center. As I'm doing this, I can also, you know, really kind of stretch the wrinkles on this. But again, I don't necessarily need a ton of wrinkles. I just need cloth to simulate. And you can keep adding subdivisions here and then keep going back in and kind of pinning this. And we'll put some ropes around this so that it looks more, what's the word I'm looking for? Looks more right. Looks more, you know, let's turn off expand. I wonder if there's a way to kind of keep, let's turn on thickness. Now again, thickness is just dynamic, so you don't need to worry about it affecting your mesh too much. Another thing you can do, you can go through here, and if you know kind of where your wrinkles are going to end up, you can manually go through here and just start sculpting in some wrinkles. And then you can go through and you can enhance these wrinkles with other brushes. I like to use the pinch brush. Go down here under brushes. By default, pinch brush isn't going to do anything other than what it's supposed to, which is pinch geometry. However, you can go in here to elasticity, simulation iterations up to 100, and then we'll turn gravity off. We don't need that anymore. We don't need collision volume either. And then now we can turn on expand, and now when we're pinching, it'll actually go through and enhance. It's still a cloth simulation, you know, but it will kind of enhance the wrinkles you already kind of have there using the cloth algorithm. So that's one way you can kind of go through and kind of manually get some of that look you're going for. So again, you can just kind of sculpt it in first and then use the pinch brush with simulation to kind of get it into that region, into that zone or something like that. So let's smooth this down a little bit here. So we've got some cloth sails. You can make them chainmail if you'd like. I don't think we'll do that. So we've got this pinned in the corners. Is that what we wanted? Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be okay. I mean, I don't know, how accurate do we want to be for a cartoon pirate ship? Because up here it looks like they actually had it pinned a couple different, you know, places in here, but I think we're okay. So let's do a rope. Now you may be thinking, great, finally we can do some ZRemesh curve brush stuff. Nope, not me. I'm way too lazy for that. So we're just going to do a ring, and we're going to Alt tap. Oh, okay, fine. Alt tap here. Alt that brush I just linked to y'all. Just grab the ring out of there. We're going to say split mass points, W, move this into place. We'll kind of scooch this around, and I'm literally just going to, it's going to go here. You know what, let's do we can do a deflate or an inflate on our deformation to kind of thin this out a little bit, and then literally we can just scale this down. Let's turn on LSim so we can scale across that local axis, and also something I completely forgot about, BTR, because we were in cloth transpose, so now we're in regular transpose. There we go. So we have a rope, quote unquote, going around here, and then, you know, we need to control drag out a copy. We'll scoop this around a little bit so it's like someone actually went and tied this, and then we can say, you know what, this rope's going to go over, and then this rope's going to go under, and then control tap to invert, and there we go. Now we've got this. Let's go ahead and hit control D so we can get a little bit more. And also let's do a polygroups, auto groups. And if I do a mirror and weld, it's going to yell at me because I have subdivisions. Delete lower, geometry modify topology, mirror and weld. We can reconstruct back if we want, and then go back up. And then now we can say, we can move these all together, or I can go in here to brush auto masking, and I can say topological. There's also BMT for move topological as well. But now I can kind of just get those into place. And then I can even take this and just kind of scooch this back in. If I'm being real lazy, I can just take these knots here, W, control drag, reset, control drag down. Oh, fine. Delete lower, control drag down. You know the secret sauce to maintaining your subdivisions. Now, again, we'll move this into place here. You know, and I guess it's not too late. If I wanted to, it's never too late. W, control drag in. We're going to put another one in here. This might make it just a little bit better. So all that stuff we did, deleted. However, not a big deal, because we can go through here again, dynamic with thickness is turned on. We're going to divide this a couple times, and now we just need to mask in a couple more places. So corner, corner, top, W, brush transpose, BTC, transpose cloth, and we'll kind of pull some wind into that. And that's not too terrible. And then, you know what, let's say, do we have, oh, we do have expand turned on, so that's maybe, if you need to see a little bit better, let's go to our startup material. There we go. Here. And again, we can use our pinch brush to kind of enhance our wrinkles using cloth dynamics. And we'll go through here and we'll smooth that. Okay, so we've got a sail. It's anchored a couple more places now. And then we're going to go through and you know what, this is, so we have subdivision levels. So luckily we can always go in through here and make pretty broad adjustments without having to worry about like getting too lumpy. If you ever do get real lumpy, you can always go back into polish by feature, deformation, polish by features. We'll do closed circle and just kind of smooth these out a bit. And then just push this back up. So we still got plenty of, opportunity there. So hold on, shift, smooth out those faceting a little bit. Move brush, yoink, yoink. And then here. All right, we've got a sail of sorts. And again, subdivision level 1 if you want to make big adjustments. Don't be like me. Alrighty, hold on just a second. Okay, let me get a drink of water here. Let's see here. Thanks again, 3D Head Tutor. You are awesome. I appreciate it. Can you make a video on the realization of the wrinkle map with ZRemesh and Maya with UDIM for? Oh boy, ooh, that's way too smart for me. A wrinkle map and Maya with UDIMs for characters, like driven by the shader or by like what the what I would do is say, hey material team, hey character team, hey tech rigging, make that work. I'm not smart enough for that. Can a ZRemesh follow a custom path like the railing? I can't remember if that's an option. No, I think you can kind of do it. There's some fancy stuff going on in the arrays here, so you can kind of see how they, you know, there's a path it'll follow, but I think it's driven by numbers. So another thing you can do though is you can go in here and for your array mesh, you can actually turn array meshes into, convert to nanomesh, and that'll convert your array meshes into polyplanes and then assign the object to those polyplanes and give you a nanomesh. But yeah, for a custom path, I've actually done this a number of times. Let's go ahead and quick save here. So if I want to, there is a BC brush curve, what's it called? Curve flat. So turn on FX symmetry. We're gonna go, of course, curve flat. There we go. We're gonna say split mass points. So here's our custom path, and of course you can control these curves and do whatever you'd like, but now you have a custom path that you can go through and create your objects to kind of go along that path. Now you can't go back in and be like, oh, let me move that curve now, but you can modify this geometry in any way that you want. So if you want to like go through here and say another thing, I mean, God, there's so many different ways to do this, but one option is again, go to my custom menu and I'm going to do a bend curve, and we'll say, let's go back here. So sorry, Alt-E-M. I want the bend curve that's looking right at me, bend curve up. So we have bend curve here, and I'm going to say split mass point. So if you did need a little bit more control, you could use ZSpheres and ZSphere helper. You all know all that. But go in here to bend curve, and you can, again, if you need a little bit more control over where these things are going, this is where you can go through here and be like, I want it to twist this way and twist that way, and all the fancy things you want that path to do. And then now we'll go through here. These angles get a little sharp, so I'm not going to rely on polygroup by angle to do the job for me, but I can go through here and say you delete hidden, and we'll hit Control D, kind of smooth this out a little bit, and then we'll say delete lower, and then now I have a path, and by that I just mean you can do polygroup, polyloop here, invert that, delete hidden, and then now you have a path that you can say, oh, did I get, okay, brush U. So now you have a path you can put those nanomeshes on. Yes, yeah, and the ZSphere plugin that John's talking about is literally, I guess we don't need a switch, we can just stay in here. So let's delete U and delete U, and we're going to append. I mean, okay, we can actually, I always go on these tangents where I'm like, you can do this, and then I delete it. Let's see if there's a instance where we want to use this technology. So we did these simple ropes up here, right? Let's say if we wanted to do, you know, ropes down. Oh, there's some cooler pirate ships. I should have done that. Okay. Let's say if we wanted a rope going from the top, you know, down to the bottom or something like that, because some of these do actually have that. So what we can do is we can say, okay, ZSphere, let's go grab it. U. We have it selected. I'm going to turn on X symmetry, and I'm going to hit W, and I'm going to move the ZSphere into place, and we're going to say E to scale it down. Scale doesn't matter so much because Curves Helper, if you want to skip ahead here underneath stroke, down here under Curves Helper, you can actually say scale ZSpheres to draw size. So at any point, you can make these whatever size you'd like. If you want to keep them consistent, just start dragging, hold down Shift. That'll snap it to the size you want, and then now you can literally put these wherever you want. Now in this case, it's a very simple thing. If you wanted to attach it here, I'm just looking at the boats here, see where they go. Yeah. Middle out. They seem to just be kind of attached to like these areas here. However, don't think it has to be that simple. You could literally go in here and hit Q to create a new thing, and you can go, okay, I want it to go here, and I can even go in here and say I want it to sag. You could use dynamics for this later, but you can also just kind of dial it in. You know, and I'm just literally just using Z-spheres to kind of dictate where the Z-spheres go, and that's going to create our path. And now you can create, if I go through here and say adapt to skin here, and I say, okay, dynamic resolution down to 0, density down to 0, hit preview. Again, you have geometry here that you can create a poly loop like we did before, and then just have the path follow that. But you can also go in here and you can say, copy Z-sphere chain, create curve. Let's go ahead and turn off our Z-spheres. So now you have a curve here, and now you can go in here to, if you have a rope, let's see if I downloaded one. Most of the ropes I found haven't been great. I can make a rope real quick in just a second. But, and I'll show you, you know what, we'll just do that. You can, you know, go through and you can download ropes from the internet. There might be some decent ones. I don't know that I've found one in particular. This one's a little too high res for my tastes. Oh, I did make one. Simple rope, but we'll go ahead and recreate this so you know how to do it. So I need to make a rope. In the meantime, brush, insert, BI, brush, insert, curve, M. You can make this, or if you wanted to do like a bike chain along the curve. There you go. So you have Curves Helper. You can go through, and now you have a bike chain along that curve. Cool. So we'll tap off to delete that curve, and we'll say you delete U out of our scene. We don't need these spheres anymore. But what we do need is a rope. So let's say, just a second. So let's say, okay, let's quick save, because we're going out of the subtool, go out of edit mode, switch, Control N. I'm gonna grab a polyplane 3D, go into edit mode, and you know what? Make polymesh 3D, geometry, reconstruct subdivisions, back, say delete higher, so we just have a plane. There's a couple different better ways to do that, but that's one way. We're gonna go in here, back in here to dynamic, turn off smoothness, turn off thickness, Micropoly on, and we're going to steal this wire. So these wires I know repeat nicely top to bottom. However, there's too many of them. So Let's go in here and we'll say, I mean, you know what else I could have done? I think I can hold down Alt and click on wire, and then it will give me, it'll put a wire out here in space. Although it is oriented, I guess the orientation is what I choose it to be, so don't worry about that. So I'm gonna hold down Control Shift, grab these pieces here, Control Shift A, delete hidden. And now if I wanna test this, I can say, okay, Control drag up and then get there and then let go. And you can see it'll just keep repeating. Back out a little bit. So here, and again, this is just a test. It's not exactly what we want, but that's the rope we're gonna get. If we want this to be compact a little bit more, we can shrink this down. Oh no, BTR, transpose regular, not transpose cloth. There we go. So we kind of fatten this up a little bit. It'll get more rotations per. So we'll call this our rope. And we'll go through here and we'll say brush, create insert mesh, new. And now we have an insert mesh brush that does its thing. However, I need to go in here to stroke and say, I need to turn this into a curve brush. So turn on curve mode. And now we have a curved brush. However, as I start bending this, you're going to see they're not going to weld together. Easy fix. Go down here to brush, modifiers, and then go in here and say weld points. And you know what? Turn off tray parts. You don't need that. So now if we tap to update this curve, they'll stick together. And in our case, maybe we need a little more curve res. I think that'll work fine because we're going to be dragging out a bunch of ropes here. So that's one way to do a rope. If you like this rope, did it not work? Weld points. How are you not working? It's like it's doing something weird. W, control drag up. That should work. Let's hit Control W. Create insert mesh. New, stroke, on. Bend start, bend end is usually what I like to have as default. And then we'll go down here and say no triparts, weld points, stretch, curve res up. Actually, stretch we probably don't need. Well, great. Now it's not working. You make me look like an idiot, ZBrush. Maybe it's because I fattened them up. Oh, you know what? I'm literally looking at these things not being welded. So there's two holes in this technically because for some reason that I never have seen before, these things became unwelded. So let's do a quick weld points and see if we can't just grab those together. Although I'm a little bit nervous doing that, so let's do this manually. Let's go down here to stitch. No. Yes, stitch, 2 points, U, go to U. Any other problems? Let's do a polish my features. No, we're fine. Interesting. Never noticed that before. Stitch those up. B, create insert mesh. New. Stroke, curve mode. You guys memorize this yet? Down here, try parts off, weld points, curve res up, maybe just a little bit. And then we'll, okay, we have a damn rope. If you like this rope brush, which I do very much now, so I don't have to do this ever again. Brush, do select icon, just tap that, and it'll grab whatever's on your screen. Save as, throw this in your ZBrush 2021. Program files, pick select your ZBrush 2021. ZBrushes, I have a little IMM general brush here, and we'll say, this is a tighter rope. So we'll go ahead and save that right in there. And then now whenever I hit the comma key, go in here to the brush section, way over here to my general IMMs. Somewhere in here should be there's a simple rope, snake, chain. Somewhere in here should be my row. There it is, rope tighter. You can just double click that, bring it in wherever you would like, and you're good to go. So we'll go back to our ship. And Well, now we have rope, but now I don't necessarily. Okay, we do have. That's gonna be interesting. So on some of these, they do have a kind of a rope you can walk along, so you can actually create geometry, and you can use Micropoly to give you the lengthwise and the crosswise. That could be interesting. We'll put that in our back pocket. Sorry, let me get caught up here. I love you too, Cena. So let's see. I can't be the only person who knows how to use the cloth stuff. It's pretty simple. I mean, there's stuff in there. It seems like a lot. And I don't use all of it. You know, I just use a couple things here and there, and that usually gets me what I want. Is Marvel's Designer better for clothing? Kind of depends on what kind of clothing you're making. I use both of them. Yeah, you don't need to be like me. What's the best way to rig a character and how to prevent the over-deform and transpose mesh? If I'm posing a character in ZBrush, I rarely use, like, you can go in here to Z plugin Transpose Master. You can use a ZSphere rig. I don't usually use that unless it's like a creature that's just skin and bone and sinew. Then I'll use Transpose Mesh with a ZSphere rig. Other than that, or naked human. Other than that, I just use just regular Transpose Mesh, and it's kind of grueling, but it's easier than setting up. Sometimes it's easier than setting up an actual rig with all that functionality. Although there's auto riggers that'll do a decent job too. So, kind of depends on how much more work you want to put in. Yes. Yeah, that could be a little Black Pearl inspired. We can go and check out some of that reference. See if there's any stuff we want to dial in particular. Easy, I've never seen this before. You know, say experienced something first time. You're still young. Yes. My producer keeps telling me. I mean, I like to think I'm young at heart. Work as fast as Mike Pav. Get a Mike Pav time. I don't. You know, here's the thing too: is you can. I tend to. It's kind of weird. So if I want to kind of give myself a little bit more room, we can go back into Brush Transpose Cloth BTC, and then again make sure that we're getting that algorithm that's maintaining our what is it? Our relationships in between these, which seems to kind of work in that case. But you can also kind of fudge it. Also, we want to move multiple on these, so we can go through here and I'm going to say move multiple. However, these aren't separate subtools, so I need to mask you, and then I want to move these as well, but I need to mask these top ones. So now when I go through remove multiple, I'm going to say I want to move the rope, I want to move the wood, and then we can just move just the rope and the wood from those things here. Undo, move multiple. Anyway, like I was saying, I can make a lot of garbage incredibly quickly. Do I make quality work? No. I think you all do, you know, go at whatever pace you need. You don't need to be the fastest at making garbage like me. It's fun though. It's fun on streams to just make garbage really quickly. Can I do the Yoda thing? Like talk in the Yoda voice? When you say it easy to tense, is this a boat for personal or something? This was just a last live stream that we did on Pixel Electric channel. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. So usually I just live stream once a month. However, I am going to be live streaming this Friday and next Friday with the Stylist League. So I can go through here. And here's the good news. I'll put a link up here. The good news is I'm going to be streaming with people who are far more, like we were just talking about, I make garbage real fast. These guys make really good stuff real fast. So you can actually watch professionals make stuff along with me. But I'll be on their channel streaming, again, this Friday and next Friday. You can use that link to kind of see when that's going to be happening. I'm the special guest. Shh. Cool. Hey, Eugene. We got a boat going here. Now, one thing I do want to make sure we get done is that bottle. You know what? Let's do this. Subtool before it gets too late. So we're gonna go through here, and you know what? Let's just grab a cylinder here. I don't need it incredibly let's go to initialize. I don't need it incredibly detailed, so I'm going to say maybe 24 spans. Again, 4 divides, just nice and simple. And we're going to say make polymesh 3D, and then I'm going to go back to my ship, and we're just going to append that new polymesh cylinder here. Select it. Let's go into transparency mode. Rotate it. And then scale it up. Hold BTR. We're not transposing cloth anymore. And now I'm going to kind of fit this into a little bottle thing. Now I'm going to say ship in a bottle here. I'm just going to see if there's anything fancy that goes along with shipping the bottle, or we can put a cork in the end. That'll be neat. Okay, that looks pretty straightforward. So I'm going to kind of eyeball this as we go. So we've got a ship and we got a bottle. I'm going to hold down Alt and tap, and we're going to scale this out just a little bit here. And we're going to say bevel, edge loop complete, or give us a nice fat bevel along the front. And then we're going to say insert multiple edge loops, interactive elevation. And you know what? We can also say keep polygroup, keep it nice and tidy. And we'll go ahead and round that out just a little bit. And then for the back end, same thing, but maybe just a little less of a bevel here. And then again, insert multiple edge loops, kind of bow that out just a bit. And now we need the little thing coming out. So we're going to say inset polygroup island, because we got multiple yellows here. I'm going to tap Alt, make sure we have a new polygroup here. And again, this is going to look impossible to do through this tiny opening, but we know the trick is do it in 3D because anything's possible. QMesh polygroup all in this case because we not a new polygroup. We'll pull out, and then we'll pull out again. Good enough. And maybe a little bit more, we'll chunkify it. And then we'll say polygroup polyloop, and then one more time, insert polygroup. Oh, you know what, before we do that, I'm gonna give myself some thickness. However, we do need to ease this off. So again, one more time, bevel, here, big fat bevel, and then insert multiple edge loops, and we'll just pull inwards, and we'll kind of, there we go, boop. Something like that. Okay, we got a big glass jug here. I think that'll work. Now, let's do a quick group by normals. So we can just pop this end cap off, essentially, say delete hidden. And now we can go through here and we can say, what can we say? Extrude. I like to do an extrude instead of a QMesh because QMesh can be a little bit sticky sometimes. So here's the thickness of our glass in here. We're going to say flip. And then also what tends to happen when you make, you make glass stuff. Boy, did I flub this or what? What the hell? Oh, you know what? Maybe I moved it with cloth transpose once and it kind of, it's okay. You know what? This is an old glass bottle. It wasn't manufactured perfectly, so we'll give it a little bit of, we'll be okay. So I'm going to go through here. I'm going to say polygroup, polyloop. Now that I have a inner thickness, I don't even need to do that. Insert multiple edge loops, interactive elevation, and now I can just kind of pull out a little ring here. If you wanted to, you could push in a ring as well, or you could have just QMesh it, but I'm going to leave that alone because I want variations of my skin, my thickness on my glass. So when we go to render the glass, it'll look a little bit, because usually glass isn't like one uniform thickness all over. It'll be thicker on the top and the bottom and on the corners and stuff. So what we're going to do is go down here to display properties. We're going to flip here, and now we can see the inside of the mesh a little bit more. And if we wanted to bow this inside out, we can hold down Alt and let's go to the front here. No. All right, fine. Let's do Control Shift. Wow, you're being mean. Control Shift tap to get rid of the blue. I just literally want this back panel here. Okay, Control W. Ugh. So now I can isolate. Well, let's do this. Let's do inset polygroup island again. I'm going to pull this in just a little bit here. And then this one here, we're going to say delete hidden. And then now if I go here and I say close convex hole, with that edge, it'll want to bow out, but I can't bow in. So I need to go back and flip my normals again. And then I need to see if I can go in here and say, let me bow this out. Maybe not that much. I'll flip this back so I can see. Ooh, too much. That's okay. Control W. It's difficult to see. I gave myself a tough task. But we can say isolate this. You can control click any polygroup here, and I'll go to unmatch my center reset. Go back down here to the bottom, and we'll kind of just bow that out just a tiny bit, and then flip this back. Okay, we have a ship, and we have a bottle, and we want to make a cork, correctamundo. So we're going to duplicate this off, hold down Control Shift. So we just have this little purple ring, delete hidden. Now we're going to go in here to say close convex hole, get rid of the purple ring, delete hidden, Control W, Q mesh, polygroup all, pull this out, maybe hold down Shift and pull this. You know what? Most of the cork is actually in the bottle, so we'll say something like this. And then this one we can probably just do a crease BG, crease level of 2, smooth sliver of 3. If we're getting scalloping on the edges here, we can add some control loops or just some bevels, but we'll just do an inset polygroup island here and here. That'll alleviate some of these. We can also put in maybe just one control loop. Okay, good enough. We have a cork of sorts. All right, we can turn the cork and the bottle off. I just wanted to make sure we got that done. Okay. Oh, I forgot Gabriel would be, I mean, hell, it's only going to be recorded, so it's not like you need to be there in person. Unless you need to ask something in particular. Let's see you there if you can make it. If not, no biggie. As you can probably tell, we're going to be doing Ninja Turtles. Cool. No, thank you, Cena. Rope height and cut off the bottom of the bottle. Yes, I think I do need to move stuff up. The good news is I can say, you know, go in here to W, move multiple, Control Shift drag so nothing's selected. Let's turn on transparency. So I can say, don't move. Let's hash this out. I want to don't move the glass, don't move the cork, although don't move the glass, don't move the cork, tap to invert that, and now I can move around all of the ship stuff. However, I do have some stuff still masked, so I can fix that in a bit, no biggie. But now that I see that, I do want to go back to my rope, control drag to unmask, and then the wood to unmask as well. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you may be. Yeah, I don't know. I can do a quick render too, just to kind of see if there's anything really flubbed in here, and then we can go fix all that. With your fracture stuff work for glass and BPR transparency? They have not fixed that in a while. Yeah, you know, rendering in ZRemesh, I'm probably going to throw this in a Keyshot for glass. That's where I usually end up. I can show you how to do a translucent rendering. So here's my bottle. I'm going to go ahead and hit D for dynamic. And you know, let's do crease. We don't even need crease. This is literally just what we want. We'll say smooth div of 3. And then if I want to render this transparently, I can go in here to display properties, BPR settings, transparent shading, say always yes. Go in here and hit BPR, and then when you render, this will be translucent. So of course you can choose, you know, maybe a little bit more of a glassy type material or something like that. But yeah, that's when we go about it. But I probably won't be rendering this in ZBrush if I was a betting man. Cool. Oh man, I make the most mistakes. So if you're here to see somebody make mistakes, welcome to Michael Pavlovich's mistake channel, where it's all mistakes all the time. Again, we're going back here to the ship. I think we've got a lot of what we need. There are ports on the side, depending on how crazy you want to get, where it's like, okay, I want to slice through here and actually poke holes through the ship. I'll leave that up to you. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here pretty simply, I think. Cylinder 16 from the brush I gave y'all earlier. Let's do a quick, turn off LSIM so we can do a quick mirror, mirror and weld. Turn on X symmetry, and then now we can just kind of scale these down. So we'll kind of position these where they need to go. Maybe 1, 2, 3. Boy, I really dipped down here. I'm not leaving myself a whole lot of wiggle room, am I? That's okay. We'll turn LSIM back on now that we have 2 on both sides. So we'll say, I didn't leave myself a whole lot of room. That's okay. Okay, so first let's get this thing figured out. So we want this to have a inset. So again, inset flat island, and we'll pull this in just a bit. And then you know what? We probably need to do it to the other side. So, oops, I messed that up, sorry. Inset flat island, tap to get the exact same thing. Q mesh to poke through the entire object. If you want to, you can say insert single edge to pull down. You guys know the drill. And then we can even put a little glass dome across here if that's what those are supposed to be, and not cannons poking out of them or something like that. It's kind of hard to tell on some of these. Yeah, these seem to be ports. So here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, let's do this. Bevel edge loop complete. We'll pop in some bevels, or we could do this. We could do group by normals. Go down here to crease and then hold down control and do a bevel width. That'll do all these. We'll say crease PG, crease level 2, smooth set of 3, and then now we've got the little port window. And then again, if we did want to put a little glass over this, it's a simple matter of duplicating this off. We'll do Shift D to jump out of that mode. And I literally just want to take this interior ring here, delete hidden. Let's go ahead and flip the geometry and our display properties. Let's turn off X symmetry so we can just do a quick close, convex hole, bow this out a little bit. Doom, boop, boop, boop. Isolate just this one, delete hidden, Control W, and then Q mesh. Flip. D for dynamic. D for dynamic. Scale this up. Push this in. Now, I have these that I want to move. I can, you know what, this is going to be easier. Just merge these down. W, Control drag out a copy. I guess I could make like a an insert mesh brush. That might be easier. All right, here's what we're going to do. First, we need to mirror and weld this thing, but with LSM turned off. And then I'm going to say clone this off. Let's do a quick save because we're hopping out of the subtool. And then Control Shift drag over just one of these things. Hit delete hidden. It's not going to be looking straight at me, I don't believe. Oh, actually, it kind of is. Ah, good. B, create insert mesh. New. Go back to our ship. F to frame it. Now, I want these to be all the same size. And the reason I'm doing this is so I could put it on any surface and it'll turn to the orientation of the surface. However, I want to make sure these are all the same size. So I'm going to kind of dial in what I think the size should be. Maybe 105. Oops. So when I do this, I can hold down Control. Maybe a little bit bigger. 107. Maybe a little bit bigger. I mean, they don't have to be perfect because, again, this is a very cartoony ship. But okay, so let's say 112 is the sweet spot. So now I can go through here and literally just hold down Control, and then I'll snap it to the object here. Good enough. Now I do want these to be separate materials, so I'm going to say all the glass here. Control Shift A, split hidden. That's under your split menu, subtool split, and then now we have all that. Let's go ahead and fix this a little bit. I think this is going to work. So we'll say dynamic crease level of 2, smooth set of 3, just to kind of give us a nicer crease level of 3, smooth set of 4. And then same thing up here. Let's go ahead and crease level of 3, smooth set of 4. These I can subdivide when I go into edit mesh. I can subdivide, or I can turn this into, if I'm happy with this and I'm not going to make any major, I don't need Nanomesh flexibility, I can literally go in here. One easy way to do it, geometry, convert BPR to geo. And then now I have polygroups here. We can say delete hidden. So now this is all real geometry here that I can do with what I want, which is exactly what I want to do. I want to say dynamic. You know, we can do a crease level of 1. Smooth set of 2, that's fine. Okay. This wood's still looking a little bit faceted. So let's turn on, oh, dynamic wasn't on at all. That's probably why. This up here can be, let's again run a crease tolerance. This crease is, these aren't going to hold up super well. We're going to put in some control loops. I could use Q grid on this end piece, but actually a hell of better than I thought it would. If you want to put in control loops, you can. I can live with that. And then, yeah, for the back here, this can just be, let's not overthink this. Let's do duplicate this off, Go into solo mode, Alt drag over here, isolate it, Control Shift Tap, delete hidden, Q mesh, poly group bowl, poly group bowl. You know, let's do this. Group by normals, mirror and weld, hold down Shift and just pull along those surface normals here. A roof. Now this roof is just going to be one single piece, and this is where I could go through it since it's nice and square. Dynamic, smooth subdiv of 1, Q grid up, change the coverage down so you can kind of see what this is doing. Let's change it from bevel to chamfer. You just get a nice round result here. So Q grid down, coverage where we want it. And again, that's just Shift D to turn it off, D to turn it back on. So you can always go through here and dial that softness in as needed. Same thing for this. I'm not going to do a whole lot of, we're getting close to the end, so I'm not going to do a whole lot here. Dynamic, smooth subdiv of 1, Q grid up a bit, coverage down a bit, chamfer instead of bevel. Let's go back up here to our thing. Subdivide in level of 3. We'll hit Control D to subdivide one more time. Although, let's undo that because it looks like the smooth modifier was turned off. I forgot I turned that off when I was doing my original subdividing of just to get the cloth resolution here. So we got all this dialed in. Let's soften this up. Crease level of 2. All right. Okay. Now we just have one little last section to go, and that's to get, I guess, lengthwise planks to go. And like I said, you could maybe use Nanomesh for this. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to duplicate this off, go into solo mode, Control Shift Tap. You know what, we'll just do the middle part here. We'll say delete hidden. And I don't want the planks to necessarily shrink as they go this way. So let's do Control Shift slice, and I'm just going to slice. I'm just going to slice. So we're going to say quick mirror and weld. Isolate this, Control W. Everybody cross your fingers for me. Half, tap size down to 0. Oops. Keep groups. Let's try this. Again, when things go to points, they get nasty. So Q mesh polygroup ball, I'm going to pull this back a little bit, flip, and now we're going to try U and U and U. Let's do group by. Let's run a crease tolerance. Keep our creases. Sorry, ZRemesh. Keep creases, keep groups, move groups down to 0. There we go. So now we can say delete hidden, mirror and weld across the x-axis. Let's go ahead and slide these out a little bit. So we're going to say slide, edge loop complete. We're going to slide, oops, turn on X symmetry, a little bit wider, a little bit narrower. I think we're in good shape. So then, oh, do we still have our panel loop preset? Z plugin. Panel loop preset. Yeah, we do. Bam. Yes, please. D for dynamic. Go ahead and run the crease. Crease level of 2, smooth subdiv of 3. And actually, before I did that, these are a little too uniform. So let's go through here and say, you know what, U, let's turn off X symmetry. Hold down Alt, let go of Alt. And these white polygroups always make me a little nervous because they are technically, they have a special role when it comes to ZBrush functionality. So I'm just going to go through here and break up some of these colors here, and then we'll put, maybe this will be its own color here. So now we've got overlapping wood planks. Something like that. Now, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, crease. Level 2. 2 to the 3. good enough. And you know what? I'm going to leave these alone. I think those can just kind of work. So we're going to duplicate this off. And by leave it alone, I mean I still need to do a little bit of work, but it's going to be very simplified. So U and U, delete hidden. I'm literally just going to go in here and say Q mesh, all polygons, up a little bit. Oops. Up a little bit. Down. Oops. Q mesh, polygroup, all. Shift and down. Thank you. And then crease level of 2, smooth setup of 3, just to give it a little bit of something. Man, we got a pirate ship, y'all. Let's go ahead and take this wood here, and let's say let's want to crease. Crease level, again, 3, smooth setup of 4, maybe 2, and then alt tap these ones, same deal. Run a crease. I mean, you guys, you'd see how I use the exact same stuff over and over again, right? There's no real magic. D for dynamic, crease, blah, blah, blah. World's biggest hack, Michael Pavlovich, everybody. Thank you. I'll be here all week. I will be on Friday. Remember, I'm going to be continuing to live stream on the Stylus Leagues channel. So I'll link that again. Copy link address here. One more thing before I get sidetracked. One more thing. Oh, I want to paint. So we're going to look for, what's it called? Skull and Crossbones. Images. I want to paint. I gotta paint. Save image as desktop JPEG. Now this one I am going to go in here and we're going to say texture, import, desktop, JPEG. I am going to throw this in the spotlight. So we're going to select this, click the plus sign to add it to spotlight. And then we're going to take our, oh man, I need it to be inverted. All right, come on, work with me here. Tap. Can I do anything here? No, it's not going to let me. Oh, you know what? This is fine. I can deal with this. So we have it's transparent in here, right? So I can just modify this as needed, I believe. So if I want to flatten this out first, though, what I can do, let's go into solo mode here, Shift Z. So we go through here, we can hold down Shift, we're going to smooth out this, and then this, sorry, move brush. We'll stick these back in here, so it looks like we kind of know what we're doing. And then I want to flatten this out, correct? So first things first, I have subdivision level 4 here. However, I believe the thickness is actually just dynamic, so we need to convert this. I'm not going to do a post subdiv. I want to do it subdivided along with this. So now when we hit apply, we have, maybe I did want to do post subdiv. Apply. Nope. Post subdiv off. Apply. Am I losing my mind? I think I am. Apply. No. On. That's bizarre. Okay, well, I think I could fix this. So anyways, if I do have subdivision levels and I do have dynamic and thickness, if this isn't working, I can go through here. There is a segments I can dial in, but I can also literally just go through here and say insert single edge loop, put one in here, and then say reconstruct down until I can't anymore. And then I can do, let's do delete lower. I'm going to put in 2 more, reconstruct. There we go. So now we're back to our original, and now we have subdivision levels. I'm not sure why that was happening necessarily, but that's fine. What was I doing? Oh yeah, we're going to paint. So now that I have a front and a back polygroup here, I can go over here to, let's go ahead and close all this stuff out. Z plugin, UV master, symmetry off, symmetry on, polygroups on. We're going to work on clone. We're going to say unwrap, flatten. Looks about right. You know what? Let's unflatten. Let's do a quick group by normals so we can get, as we unwrap this, those little side pieces won't be just one long piece. I think this is fine. So we'll say unflatten here. We'll say copy those UVs. We'll go back to our real sail. We'll say paste UVs. So now we have UVs on here, which means I can go down here now and we can say morph UV. So UV map, morph UV. Now I can paint on this. However, I need to know which side I'm painting on. So let's do this. I want to fill this. Okay, I should have known that. The whole color is going to be black. We'll do a dark gray. Color, fill object, and then I'm going to paint. So I'm going to go into standard brush, turn on RGB, turn off Z-add, and then here, we'll change this to like a light color. Here, and we'll also turn on backface masking. Brush, Alt F is backface masking for my hotkey. For y'all, it'll be underneath brush. Auto masking, backface masking. So we have a skull we basically want on this surface. So we'll say morph UV. There we go. Let's hit Z here. And I really need this to be inverted. Hold on. Let me think. No, that's about right. I'm gonna make I'll make the background super dark. Let's see. Come on, Photoshop. I'm just opening a damn image. Are you kidding me? Hold on just a second. I swear, today's one of those days, man. Windows Shift S, capture, new enter, paste. What are you doing? What in the world? Like, what is going on here? Damn. Okay, so brush. Take this. Let's clean it up. Invert it. Save. Wait. I do want to make this all transparent. Yeah. Let's go into levels. We'll make this super dark. Save to our desktop here. And this is called texture import. All right, so now we have a white skull. I don't need this one anymore. Get out of here, please. And then now, again, we've flattened this out. So I'm gonna hit Z. I'm gonna go into my standard brush. RGB is turned on. And I'm gonna see if I can't paint. Of course, it's gonna be the other side. Shift Z. There's my skull and crossbones. Oh, we didn't have enough resolution. That's okay. Unmorph my UV. Let's go up here and go to geometry. We'll hit Control D a couple more times. We'll go back here to morph UV. And then now, Z. It might have been better just to kind of mask this first. You know what, we can do that. Let's go in here to masking. Mask by color, intensity. Sorry, this is a really roundabout, stupid way to go about this, but bear with me. Let's go out of morph UV. I'm going to say Control Tap, Control Alt Tap, We're going to go in here to say color, fill object, and we'll clean this up. C. Woo! Sorry, everybody. That was a little bit of a disaster. That's okay. White color. So now we can start seeing, you know, how this is going to play out. So I think most of this is all separate subtools. Correct, Amundo? Yeah. So I'm going to roll this into Keyshot real fast and see if we can't get something presentable. So render, external renderers, Keyshot on, auto merge on, BPR render. Go over here to the comments, get caught back up. This is ZRemesh. No, I don't need a new one. Yeah, there's a lot of ways. After you do the booleans, quite a few ways to skin a cat there. Let's go here to edit preferences, save changes so I can use navigation here. You'll notice this has faceting. So if I go through here and I do like glass, oops, material, and I put like a solid glass on this, it's gonna look, you know, that really faceted look. So we're literally going to go in here and we're going to edit our normals so we can calculate, apply, and then I'll go ahead and smooth out that glass work. So if, you know, we're getting some weird shading, we need to go in here to lighting and at least put it on product so it'll shine light through there. But far from being a ZRemesh god, many more people out there that are better I am. Thank you, John Yu. You have to set sail. Cool. Polygroup colors is just there's a couple different ways to do that, but when I group by normals is usually what I do the most, and then it'll do that, the polygroup color thing. Yeah, I can live with that. We could put like some water in here. That might be interesting, but let's not get too crazy. Now, one thing I can try to look for is Cork. I'm going to go into the cloud library. Sometimes people accept. Logged in. Thank you. Materials. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Oh, look at that. The best thing in the world is coming in here and going, oh, there's a Cork material. Thank you. Done. I don't have to use my brain. I can just go bloop, and we have Cork. How about that? Now, I may have to use my brain a little bit because depending on the scale of this, let's go in here to textures. These are linked, let's say 1 or 3 or 5, because again, we're working fairly small scale. Let's say 10. No, we don't want super tiled Cork. There we go. Now, scene, let's go ahead and get rid of this glass temporarily so we can kind of go through here and start dropping in some planks. So let's go in here to materials and we'll type in wood. And we'll go down here and we'll say, what do we say? Old wood planks. Perfect. Can't get any better than that. We'll put this on here. However, I do need to make some changes to this material. So we're going to go in here to material. Let's just go into the material graph here. You won't be able to see all of this, but I'll try and, I guess I can scooch this over. Sorry, material graph for this wood plank. I might, you know what? I can probably just do this. So we're going to rotate this angle. Maybe 90. Width. I thought I could rotate. Angle UV. Oh, angle. Let's put this back down to 0. Angle UV 90. There we go. Is it perfect? No. Am I perfect? Yes. But this isn't. No, I'm just kidding. This is trash, but that's okay because I don't care too much. We're just trying to get a decent look. That's going to be my excuse for today. So now you're going to see in here, your roughness is bound to this color input here. So, you know what, let's do this. Let's go into environment, interior, because we're going to be sitting in like, this is going to be somebody's office, right? We're going to go in here to environment over here, and we're going to say, just use a gray color. But we're going to use this environment, shift Control, left mouse. We're using this environment to light our scene. We can always put in our own custom lights, but I think this will work okay for now. Maybe this one. We're in an apartment. Okay. Do we have... Actually, I don't mind that. Let's go over here to our materials. Now, what I'm afraid of is if I take this old wood and put it back here, it's going to work perfectly. That's what I was afraid of. But I can live with that. Now, let's try a different type of wood. We're going to go over here and we're going to say maybe oak. And we can go in here to this and we can say, again, material graph, winter, spring, summer, fall. You know what? I think it'll be easier if I just go in here to, so you can see it, go in here to utilities, color adjust. We're going to take this color and plug it into this diffuse so I can literally change all of these on the fly. We're going to go here, we'll drop the saturation down, maybe even shift the hue. I think that's fine. We'll drop the value down too. Contrast. And this is another one too, where we may need to go in here and say textures, and we're going to bump this. Nope. Diffuse. Bump. Scale. 3. Nope, too much. 1. 2. Okay, better. And we'll change the angle. So many things to adjust. Angle. I don't really need planks on this, but knots. Yeah, we're fine. So let's take this and yoop. Although I really do need to. What does this angle do? Anybody know? It's not doing what I think it should do. And that's all that matters. So I'm going to go in here and say move texture. I'm going to say part. And we're going to just manually rotate this little guy. Gosh, maybe not. What's going on here? Or is that even supposed to be wood? Yeah, it's supposed to be wood. I guess you can make it brass or something. This is small. You know what? We'll say this is fine. And let's say if we can't fix some of this. So grain scale, grain thinness, whatever. Okay, let's just keep going back to our scene here under materials, and we're going to see what we can get away with. Because again, we're going to be distorted by glass. That's what I'm going to rely on. And then back here to our old wood. Alt to retain textures, Control to retain the Shift to add as a submaterial. I'm going to drag this on here, but then I'm going to right click and I'm going to say unlink material. So hopefully now I have 2 old woods. So when I double click this one, I can go in here to textures, and now I can say 0 degrees. There we go. Same deal. And I'll use this new old wood to you, and oh, we're good. Now, do we have a brass? We do have a brass. Do brass polished for now. But I do want to go in here and I do want to say roughness up just a touch. And we got more glass. So let's go back in here. I'm going to do a new glass. So I guess we'll do glass solid, but we'll drag a new one out. do painted. Nope. Paint. Shiny paint. Shiny glossy white paint. Go in here, crank up the roughness just a bit. And one more, we'll do unlink material, so we can go lengthwise with this, hopefully. Fine, move texture. Good enough. And finally, I don't think we'll need a rope or a fabric necessarily. There is fabric in here. Sorry, cloth. Double click it. Texture properties, diffuse. Material graph. What's going on here? Diffuse is what? Color. There it is. Again, we could probably just do a color adjust, but in this case, we can probably just go in here and lighten both of these. So we'll say lighten you up, and we'll darken you down, actually. Good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough. And then for this material here, actually, let's do a plastic. Yeah, let's go look at the plastics. We're going to do hard, shiny, black plastic for what's underneath here. And then we'll take the roughness up. And then for the cloth here, let's just go ahead and make this. We don't need to do real cloth, I don't think. Let's do this. Hold down Alt. Material graph. So let's go into texture map here. I'm going to say upgrade to new node. We don't need this garbage node anymore. And here we're going to say turn off apply matte cap. We'll turn the brightness down just a bit. We're just using vertex color, which is fine. And then underneath textures here, actually we need to do this. I'm going to bump down utilities, color adjust, color to diffuse, and in here I'm going to say the value contrast. There we go. I'm going to turn the contrast down because that black is real black. Okay. Now I can kind of see what's going on in here. So textures. Of course. It kept my texture, but the cloth didn't really work. So I'm just going to drop cloth weave in here. And then for the color, I don't need. And then there's the surface. We'll pump this out to the surface here. And then color adjust, vert color. There we go. So now we have a little bit of cloth on there. And so now when we go in here to textures, specular and bump, let's say 0.5. Okay, that's huge. 0.1, 0.2, 0.01. Nope, too small. 0.05. All right, there we go. Again, we're working at a kind of a scale, so we'll dial that in. So we'll go ahead and turn everything back on here. We got a ship in a bottle, everybody. Control, drag, left mouse. We can change our environment if we need to find maybe something a little less distracting. We can also change the glass properties in here, something like that. Double click this. Let's see, transparency distance. That's fine. Refractive index I don't want to touch. Let's go in here to lighting. Let's go to jewelry. That'll give us some caustics. We got our ship in a bottle, everybody. How about that? Whew. The ship is cute as hell. Little cartoon ship. Click and hold left mouse. You can tap Alt. Yes. Oh, damn. Flamingos on the sail. Next time. Easy fix, though. Y'all know how to do that now. You done Bebop and Krang, but here we're going to start with Mike and Danny. That I don't remember. I don't know exactly who that's going to be. But you know what? That's a good point. I'll have a Ninja Turtle to add to my Bebop and Krang. That was my real plan all along, is to just fill out my Ninja Turtles library. Do you know what CPU cooler do you have? My Ryzen goes crazy. My cooler is, let's go to my YouTube channel here, and we'll do a search for a workstation. Oops. The whole word. And here's my latest one. So you can see all the stuff in here. I'll copy this to the channel here. And it's under here, maybe. NZXT Kraken X62 280mm liquid cooler. And we are, I am using my CPU for Keyshot. So we are, and streaming and using ZRemesh. So we're using it. This is the 3970X. Did you get my email? I'll look again. I don't think so, but I'll take another look after this. Material Life Graphs looks fun. How do you open that thing in Keyshot? That is this over here. So if I want to check out what this Cork is, I can double click it, click this little Material Graph button, and then now you're in here. And this is actually a lot easier to go through here. It's like, okay, this is what's driving the roughness, and I can go through here and change these values and see what's going on, as opposed to just trying to dig in here and see, you know, it depends on what you're changing, but glass usually has a tint to it. Well, let's check that. Let's go in here and change its color to, let me see, Skull and Crossbones, cartoon ship in a bottle. Maybe a greenish? You think a greenish tint would work? Whoa. I mean, just a hint. Just a hint, Mike. Boy, really? There's white, green, just a, oh my God, what are you doing? Okay, I want 1% saturation. Oh, this is interesting. Textures, bump opacity. Okay, color. I can't just do a little taste. Maybe I have to do it in post. Anybody know why that's going nuts? Cool. No, thank you, everybody. Yes, the police. Message in a bottle. Play it in your head. If I play it on my channel, I'll get deleted off the internet. This is so this is Keyshot, and then the other program was ZRemesh. We can, I think, if I had, do I have fingerprint textures? You can absolutely put fingerprint textures on here. You would need to go, you could put that into the roughness, but I don't necessarily have, I can't think of a fingerprint alpha that I have. I could go into Substance, but I'm not even sure if my license is set up correctly since I switched to Adobe. So yes, you can. I sadly cannot, and I also sadly cannot tint this glass. I'll do it in post, but essentially, you know, I need to just pick a camera angle here. I wonder if we can just keep our environment on. I don't, you know what? Okay, here's what we can do. Let's go into our backgrounds here, and let's choose like we're sitting at a table, like kind of a little workshop. Let me see if I got a nice blank table in here. Yeah, these are more like clay using. That's okay. And honestly, going back in and putting maybe some stoppers on this glass would probably sell the scene a little bit more. But let's go back here to our environment studio. I'm just gonna start simple. Yeah, that looked cartoony AF, right? Environment, lighting. Yeah, it's not gonna work. And also, I could try to generate an HDR environment from this image, but let's just go back to our interior, shall we? And see if we can't find one that just kind of lets it sit in the scene a little bit better. And that one's not too terrible. And again, we can just kind of move the light around. You generally want to make sure like the light's cast in the right direction. I don't see some real heavy shadows for anything in here, so I think we're okay. Fudge it. Good enough. And let's also go in here to an environment. Let's crank up that brightness, maybe 1.5, and maybe our contrast too. Really make it pop out. I don't know where that red's coming from. Maybe off camera there's a little red thing in there. That's a little bit busy. Does that keep it to 1.5? Yes, perfect. Okay. No. This is a little more sterile environment. That's not terrible. Let's see. I'll have to play with that. Cool. All right, everybody. I think we're good. Yeah, you can add a frog in there. I won't, but there's actually frogs you can peel out of ZBrush in the Z-Zoo, so you can make a frog pretty quick. To run this all the way back and watch it while I mess around with the ZBrush assignment for the CGMA course this week. Good luck. This is week 4. I think we're on week 4 in our CGMA course, so it should be a fun week. Shadow for the bottle will add a little spice. Yeah, there is a slight shadow from the glass, but it's not great. You know what? Let's change it back from Julie to product. I don't necessarily need caustics. And yeah, it's just busy. It's just busy. Okay, fine. Environment. Let's bump this back down. I want something that'll... And also, I don't want to really change the refractive index for this. Because there it is, invisible. And there's our little ship. So 1.5 is glass, but I'm wondering if like maybe 1. If I can dump this down just a little bit, say 1.4. Because the lower I go, the less it'll look like glass, but also I'm just trying to get a little less busy, but yeah, 1.5 is fine. Glass. That's what happens when you put glass in front of your entire model. Contrast. Sorry, I keep just messing with this. We'll call it a day. Thanks everybody. We'll get back to this. And especially thank you to 3D Head Tutor for the €5. You were awesome. I didn't even know that was a thing, so you figured that out. Congratulations. I thank you very much. Yes, you can add dust on the bottle through the roughness. So if you go in here, you know what? Let's do this material graph real quick. If I had fingerprints, this is where I would do this, but literally utilities, nope, textures. Let's put on a noise fractal granite. Maybe, and we'll drop this onto roughness. Oof. And then we'll go into the granite and we'll be like, okay, first of all, that scale. We'll scale this up. And then we'll say Do I really not have? That's all I have? All right, fine. We're going to go in here to utilities now, color adjust. And then here we can say contrast. So as we crank the contrast up, we're just going to kind of dial in and out the dirtiness of this bottle. And again, you could do very specific types of contrast, but thank you for the suggestion. That actually helps sell the this thing is actually a thing and not an obvious CG glass thing sitting in here. So yeah, play around with that. Maybe there's probably better textures to jump in here. You can put in your own custom textures as well. I'm just grabbing what's available, so maybe a little less contrast here. Yeah, because I'm sitting at a desk and it's got all sorts of clay and stuff on it. I'm gonna have smudgy ass fingers, right? Cool. Desert of the Lost Souls Aglow. By Mattis. Live performance. I don't see anything in particular. I see a lot of music videos. I tried to make the glass a little bit greenish, and boy, I'm gonna have to do that in post. I'll just do it in Photoshop because it's real touchy, like super touchy. Well, that's not terrible, but why? Like again, is there HSV? Let's do HSV, RGB. No, HSV I think is what I want. Because I want to dial in just like a tiny bit of, can I do like 0.1? No. 1% color is like massively influential in the green. However, I can go in here and I can, again, I can just do it in post. It's not a huge deal. But yeah, I'm not sure why I can't tint in here. If y'all figure that out, you let me know. Where's a good place to get HDRI images? I got some from, ooh, I forget the name. I got, let me go to my reference library here. There's probably a bunch. HDR images. I'm really trying to remember. I don't even know the name of it. Light maps, light arrays, rectangles. These are for like actual lights though. I don't remember where I got these. You can Google 3x2_rectangle2k, and that might take you to wherever these are stored on the internet. That's where I bought them from anyway. Cool. Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure why that 1% is like killer. Do you have any tutorials out there on how to make hair cards? No, I'd probably use XGen. I used to use a program called Geo to Maya Hair, but I think XGen will do what you need to do. No, I don't have any hair card stuff. But hey, you know what? I do have, now that you mention it, let's go here. So on my YouTube page and my ArtStation page here. So here's the ArtStation page that has a bunch of stuff on it, and you know, ZBrush, what's new, anytime a new version of ZBrush comes out, you can go through there and you can watch the videos on here, as well as my YouTube channel. So there's a bunch of playlists on here that you can check out. On ArtStation, there's some stuff you can buy. I do have, not me, never Google yourself. Gumroad here that has other stuff. Most of this is basically free, or $1 if I need to pay for it to be hosted. But there is some stuff in here that gets into more production-y stuff, like the Mechanical Skull series has a bunch of production, like topologizing and baking and rendering and all that kind of stuff. So stuff that I don't generally get into in my live streams because it's just boring. Yes, this is Keyshot. I tried to do 0.1 and it's basically on or off. Let's see. 0.1. It won't let me type a number in. 0.1. No, it doesn't let me. Although, I wonder. Let's see if we can. Okay, one last thing, guys. Y'all, material graph. We do have roughness. We do have color going into roughness, and then we have surface. So under the glass, we have a color entry. So let's go in here to textures, color gradients. And I'm going to plug this into. Plug this into. What? What else is in here? I need color. I need color. How do I access this? Because I was going to see if I couldn't dial in a very, very small color amount through here. But I can't seem to access any color. I can access color through this, but I'm pumping that in the roughness. This glass does have a color. I just can't access it. I mean, there was an update to Keyshot before I came in here, so maybe I'm missing something. Do you stream texturing with Substance? Occasionally, but I haven't updated my license since the Adobe thing, so maybe I'll get in there. It's also a pain to, well, you know what? That's a good point. So if you want to texture in Substance quickly, there's this no-look UV, no-look dev, so you don't even have to worry about geometry and UVs and stuff. You can literally just go through here and texture to a flat plane with displacement. So that might be cool to you. Cool, thank you, Toma, for your support. Raise returns by scanning something esoteric like that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like if it's got a weird number in there. I don't know. Anyways, thanks everybody. I'll let you all get back to it. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Again, this Friday I'll be on Stylus League's channel and we'll make some Ninja Turtles. And we'll go from there. So this Friday and next Friday. So a few more live streams for me this month. Should be fun. So, cool. Take it easy, everybody.